Max Verstappen thinks that the Silverstone Grand Prix is gonna suck. Not because he suddenly hates the circuit. In fact, he loves it. The problem is, he thinks that the 2026 Formula 1 cars are very likely to just completely change what makes Silverstone so special. After driving a few laps of the circuit on the simulator ahead of this weekend's race, Max admitted that he couldn't stop laughing. He said, "I love the track, but I did a few laps in the simulator and I just started laughing. It felt like a different racetrack, to be honest. You barely have any battery around the lap. It's just completely flat." So yes, it's going to feel very different compared to what we are used to around Silverstone because of the layout of the track. That's quite a concerning thing to hear. Silverstone, along with Monaco, is one of Formula One's most iconic circuits. It's full of long straights and sweeping high and medium speed corners, and next to no heavy braking zones. Up until these new regulations, that has been the perfect recipe for flat out, high speed, on the limit racing. But according to Max, that is now the exact problem. These new power units are still causing headaches. Even though the FIA revised the regulations after the start of the season, changing the power split from 50-50 to 53-47 in favour of the internal combustion engine, it still doesn't seem to be enough for certain circuits, and it looks like Silverstone is one of them. Silverstone might end up exposing these power unit problems more than any other track. And to be honest, I hope that it does, so that we can actually get a move on and start heading back to just full internal combustion. I've got to say, that is a very nice crash helmet design that he's got there. Not as good as mine, but still pretty nice. The great thing about wearing crash helmets is that you can keep your identity safe. If only there was something that could keep your identity safe online without wearing a crash helmet. It just so happens I have the perfect thing. Private Internet Access VPN. In the click of a button, you can change your location to one of 91 countries so that you can access any content from those regions. Sometimes Formula 1 content is hidden behind geo restrictions. Whether that's news or race highlights, some of the content is only accessible in certain countries. So this is the perfect get around. One subscription works on all of your devices, and using my link down below, you support the channel and get yourself 4 months free access and 86% off, which only works out at about $1 or so a month. They also don't keep any logs on what you do using that VPN, so you are safe from prying eyes. So if you want a free VPN for 4 months and 86% off, check out the link below. Anyway, back to Silverstone. The problem is that these cars rely heavily on recovering energy under braking. Tracks with lots of heavy braking zones naturally recharge the battery more efficiently, but Silverstone simply doesn't have many of those opportunities and doesn't really cater for it. There just aren't many slow speed corners after long straights. Realistically, I think that the best chances to actually harvest some energy are probably into turn 3 and turn 16. The rest of the lap is dominated by fast corners where drivers are carrying huge amounts of speed. I think that the worst part of the track is going to be going up into Copse, through Beckett's and onto the Hanger Straight, because there is literally nowhere to charge the battery there, not without lifting heavily through Maggots and Beckett's. Basically the opposite of racing. So what I'm saying is, instead of attacking every corner flat out like they should be able to, drivers are going to find themselves constantly thinking about energy management. And that's exactly why Max is frustrated and just finds it laughable. Now, I'm certainly no professional, and compared to the drivers, I know next to nothing about how these cars really behave. However, I do spend a little bit of time doing sim racing on the Formula 1 game. Over the past few months, I've been racing in a few online leagues, and ever since the 2026 update introduced this year's cars, I just haven't enjoyed it as much. I actually found myself doing exactly what Max is describing. Instead of pushing all the time, I was constantly thinking about recharging and managing the battery. It felt like I was only really attacking for about half of the lap, whilst the rest of the time I'm trying to recover energy. So if that's how it feels on a game, then I can completely understand why the drivers are becoming frustrated when it's happening in real life. And all of this isn't exactly a new opinion for Max. Right from the beginning of the season, he was calling these new cars anti-racing. He's even been joking that he should swap out his simulator for a Nintendo and play Mario Kart instead. Now that we're heading into one of the fastest and most famous circuits on the calendar, if Max is already laughing before a tyre has even hit the tarmac, then Silverstone could end up becoming the biggest test yet of whether these 2026 regulations actually work. Because if they struggle here, there are plenty of other circuits on the calendar that could expose the exact same problem. If you made it to the end of the video, thank you very much for watching. And if you enjoyed it, please do hit the like and the subscribe button. It is the best way to support the channel. Cheers.